Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of a room, holding a heavy black trash bag, and feeling a strange, quiet sense of relief? Picture this for a moment. It is a quiet Tuesday afternoon. You are looking at a shelf full of old paperbacks, chipped coffee mugs, and things you have dusted for 25 years. And suddenly, without any fanfare, you just decide it is time for them to go. Into the bag they go. If this has been happening to you lately, I want you to know something right now. You are not losing your edge. You are not giving up. And you are certainly not just doing spring cleaning. What you are experiencing is a profound, quiet awakening. Society has this funny habit of telling us that as we get older, we should just hold on tighter. Hold on to the memories. Hold on to the physical objects. Hold on to the way things used to be. But when you cross over into your 60s, 70s, and beyond, something shifts inside your soul. You start to realize that peace of mind is worth a whole lot more than a house full of memories you have to tiptoe around. Today, let me walk you through exactly what is happening in your mind when you start silently throwing things away, and why it is actually the most powerful phase of your life. The first thing we start tossing out isn't just physical clutter. We start throwing away the just-in-case mindset. Think about the good china sitting in your dining room cabinet. You know the ones. The plates you were gifted 30 years ago. The ones you only pull out for a holiday if you are lucky, terrified someone might chip a rim. We were raised by a generation that survived hard times. Parents who taught us to save every rubber band, every glass jar, and every nice coat, just in case. But why do we do this to ourselves? We do it because we were conditioned to believe the future was always more important than the present. But now, you are waking up to the reality that the special occasion is today, right now. You are throwing away those heavy expectations and realizing that if you want to eat a piece of toast off the fancy silver platter on a random Wednesday morning, you have earned the right to do exactly that. Getting rid of the things you were saving for a tomorrow that never comes is your way of claiming today. Now, that brings us naturally to the second thing we start throwing out, and this one is invisible. We start silently throwing away our need to manage other people's problems. Have you ever caught yourself sitting by the phone on a Sunday afternoon, waiting for a call from an adult child, only to realize they usually just call when they need a favor or some quick advice? For decades, you were the rock. You were the provider, the fixer, the shock absorber for everyone else's mistakes. You paid the bills, you kept the peace, you smoothed over the arguments at the Thanksgiving table while doing all the cooking. But lately, you might find yourself stepping back. You stop offering advice unless you are asked. You let people make their own mistakes. And honestly, it feels incredibly freeing. You are letting go of the illusion that you can control the happiness of grown adults. You are throwing away the heavy burden of being everything to everyone and trading it for a quiet, dignified peace. And pay close attention to the fifth thing we are going to talk about today, because that is the one most loving, generous people struggle to let go of for their entire lives. It is a real heavy hitter, but we will get to that in just a moment. First, let us talk about the third thing going into that mental trash bag. We are throwing away the ghosts of who we used to be. Imagine going down into the basement or the garage and looking at a set of old golf clubs, or a dusty sewing machine, or even old professional uniforms. You look at them and feel a slight pang of guilt because you used to be the person who used them every weekend. We hold on to these things because our society tells us our value is tied to our productivity. We think if we throw away the tools of our past hobbies or careers, we are somehow erasing our history. But your history is in your bones. It is in your wisdom. Tossing out the physical anchors to a past chapter does not mean you are fading away. It means you are clearing the runway for who you are right now. You are accepting your current energy levels, your current physical reality, and saying, I am enough exactly as I am today, without needing props to prove what I used to do. That leads us to the fourth realization. You start silently throwing away forced relationships. Think about standing in line at the grocery store, listening to someone complain bitterly about the weather, the cashier, the prices, just dragging the energy of the whole room down. In the past, maybe you would have smiled, nodded, and absorbed their negativity just to be polite. Not anymore. Something clicks in your late 60s. You look at your remaining time on this earth and you realize it is far too valuable to spend on people who drain your spirit. You stop going to social gatherings that feel like obligations. You stop sending holiday cards to people who haven't checked on you in 5 years. You stop trying to prove your worth to friends or family members who only see you as a convenience. You aren't being bitter or isolated. You are just heavily curating your inner circle. You are fiercely protecting your peace, and honestly, it is a beautiful thing to witness. Now, here is the fifth thing, the one I mentioned earlier, the hardest thing to throw away. It is inherited guilt. Let me paint a picture for you. You have a box in the attic, or maybe an ugly porcelain lamp on a side table. You do not even like it. In fact, you think it is completely hideous. But you keep it because it belonged to your late mother or your favorite aunt. Every time you think about giving it away, a heavy wave of guilt washes over you. You feel like throwing the lamp away means you are throwing their memory away. But here is the honest truth, friend. Your home is a living space for you. It is not a museum for other people's ghosts. Waking up means realizing that your love for your family is not stored inside an old lamp or a box of moth-eaten sweaters. The people who loved you would never want their possessions to become a heavy chain around your neck in your golden years. When you finally put those obligation items in a donation box and drive them away, you are not betraying anyone. You are finally giving yourself permission to live in a space that reflects your own heart, not a shrine to the past. And finally, the sixth thing you start silently discarding is the desperate need to keep up with the noise of the modern world. Have you watched the evening news lately? It is a constant, dizzying spin of outrage, crisis, and panic. The younger generation and the media tell you that if you are not deeply worried about everything happening across the globe, you are out of touch. But you know better. You have lived through wars, economic crashes, changing politicians, and shifting cultures. You have seen the pendulum swing back and forth a dozen times. You start throwing away the anxiety they try to sell you on the television screen. You turn it off. You walk outside, look at the trees in your own backyard, and decide that tending to your own garden is the most radical, powerful thing you can do. You trade the loud, exhausting noise of the world for the quiet, steady rhythm of your own breathing. When you look at all of this together, it paints a very clear picture. Aging is not a process of losing yourself. It is a process of finally finding yourself under all the piles of things and expectations you gathered over a lifetime. If you are throwing things away, cleaning out closets, stepping back from dramatic people, letting go of old guilt, you are experiencing a season of selective energy. You are choosing quiet competence over loud chaos. You are realizing that the less you carry, the taller you can stand. This is not the twilight of your life. This is the masterpiece of your life. You have paid your dues, you have carried the weight for everyone else, and now it is your turn to travel light. Be incredibly proud of the space you are creating for yourself. But I also know that letting go is not always a perfectly smooth road. It is a daily practice. Some days it is easy to toss things out, and other days a single photograph or an old memory can stop you right in your tracks. And that is perfectly okay too. Give yourself grace as you clear your path. I would love to hear from you today. Take a moment and leave a comment below. What is one specific thing, whether it was a physical object gathering dust or a heavy emotional expectation from someone else, that you finally found the courage to throw away recently? And more importantly, how did your heart feel the moment it was gone? Your story might be the exact encouragement someone else needs to read today. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. Keep protecting your peace, keep traveling light, and take good care of yourself out there.